Okay, so now let's look at some of the other editing tools. So this one here looks like a teardrop, the blur tool, and under that you've got the sharpen tool and the smudge tool. Well, the blur tool, guess what that does? Right, if I just zoom in on his shoulder here and I click repeatedly and go over the same spot with the blur tool, you can see that that is blurring his shoulder there. His shoulder has become blurred. Right? That is nice and simply what the blur tool does. So I'll step back in my history. The sharpen tool, you can't sharpen something that's been blurred, but you can improve it slightly. You see, if I just go over that, right, that's sharpening all the pixels, and that really messes things up, right, because that's gone to the extreme. But it might, just one click or two might just pick up the image a bit for you, right? So that's what the sharpen tool does, right? The smudge tool, imagine that this is a drawing or a painting on the page, and you press your finger on the page, you press and drag, and it smudges it. So there you go, his arms exploded. That's what that kind of looks like, as I'm smudging it all together. Okay, so there's what the smudge tool does. Go back again. Below that, you've got the dodge tool, the burn tool, and the sponge tool. Now, these are going back to like proper, photographic darkroom methods. So the dodge tool, if I click on this, is a way of sort of overexposing the image, I suppose would be the best description. It's providing us with a really lighter sort of colour. See what that's doing to his shoulder? So that's like it is. Think of it as overexposure, right? So I'll undo that. That's the dodge tool, right? The burn tool would be, in photographic terms, when it's been exposed to too much light and the light has burnt into it. So this is going to darken it, right? And does literally create like a burn. See, that's kind of burning the photograph. So I'll go back. And the final one, the sponge tool. Imagine that this was a watercolour painting or something and you run over it with a wet sponge. Right? Actually, I could do with going to something with a bit more colour in it. I'll go over to this truck and you can see here, if I go over it with my wet sponge, the colour is being taken out of it. So it's a way of desaturating the image, right? And you're just left with black and white. Okay, so those are the editing tools: blur, sharpen and smudge, and dodge, burn and sponge.